Here is a chicken wing, and right there we are looking at the elbow joint. Over here we're looking at the wrist joint, or what would compare to the wrist joint in the human. So the first thing you need to do with the dissection is to remove all the skin. The easiest way to do this is make a slit in the skin on that middle section. Put your scissors underneath that slit, and then you want to go all the way up to a joint with the scissors. Now what you do not want to do is cut any muscle tissue, so you need to be careful that you are just cutting skin. All of the tan tissue underneath the skin is muscle, and we want to keep that as intact as possible. So again, go all the way up to joint A and joint B. Once you have a nice cut, you can go ahead and start peeling the skin away from the muscle. The skin is connected to the muscle by something called connective tissue, which is a very clear tissue that has a lot of strength but is also easy to break through. So when you're peeling the skin off, you are breaking through that connective tissue. As you go, you can cut off any excess skin. So we can see that more muscle tissue is being revealed. You can do the same thing with the upper end of the chicken wing. So again, make a slit in the skin. Cut all the way to either end of that upper section and continue to peel the skin away. Again, remember that you are breaking the connective tissue. That's what's holding the skin to the muscle. So you can continue peeling away skin. The idea here is to clear as much of the skin away as possible so we get a really good look at the muscle itself. Also a good idea to clear all skin off of the joint area so you have a easier view of the ligaments. Alright, so right now we're breaking through the connective tissue that holds muscles to muscles. Now notice how if you pull on the muscle, a movement happens. So the movement is there in that upper section of the arm. So under the pointer, under the probe, is a tendon. So the tendon is an elastic white tissue that connects muscle to bone. So you can see where it's connecting to the bone in that upper sort of hand portion of the chicken wing. So when the muscle contracts or the muscle is pulled on, that pulls on the tendon, which in turn pulls on the bone, creating the movement that you see in that top section of the chicken wing. Now, tendons are very strong, but if we pull hard enough, we can break that muscle. Notice that it tears right at the tendon. Now what we are going to do is remove the muscle from the chicken wing so that we have a better view of the underlying bones and ultimately of the ligaments that are holding those bones together. So there are many different types of tissue to be found in the chicken wing. So far we have looked at muscle, which is the tan tissue. We have looked at fat, which is the white blobby tissue. You see a lot of it in the skin. We have seen tendon tissues. So tendons connect the muscle to the bone. Right now, you can start to make out the fact that there are two bones in that middle section of the chicken wing. So those bones would be the radius and the ulna. So those are the equivalent forearm bones in our arms. Okay, I am removing the skin and tissue away from that wrist joint so we can get a better view of the ligaments that are holding that joint together. So if you look, right now we're cutting off one of those tendons that was attaching muscle to bone, trying to clear that tissue so you have a good view. Okay, the probe right now is touching a ligament. So that is the ligament. Again, they look like a tendon, just shorter. They're also white. So they are attaching bone to bone. So there is one bone it is attached to, and on the opposite end is the other bone that it is attached to. So again, shorter, still very strong, still very flexible, and they hold those bones together at the joint. All right, now what we're going to do next is break apart one of the forearm bones so you can get a view of what is inside the bones. And that would be marrow at the end of the probe. So we've broken apart the bone. Inside the bone is marrow, which is a red fatty substance. Marrow creates blood cells for the body. That is cartilage that we're looking at the end of one of the joints. The cartilage is a white flexible tissue. In the middle there is bone, that's spongy bone, so you can see that matrix of bone. Remember, bone is not solid, it is hollow.